From the studios of Blackwater Media in the city of Atlanta, it's time for another edition of the Dr. William Lester Show. I'm, of course, your host, Dr. William Lester, the purveyor of all things cool and all things vintage. Very excited that we are coming up on the Thanksgiving holiday, and I know that a lot of people have already gotten to that kind of hustle and bustle mode. And it's a very enjoyable time of year, because we are kind of now officially into the holiday season. And it's just that, things kind of change, right? The whole perspective and the weather has changed, obviously, and you just start getting that kind of holiday spirit, that kind of congenial, enjoyable holiday. At least I hope you are. I mean, I certainly do. It's my favorite time of the year, I think. And certainly it's the perfect season for examining and exploring and investigating and talking about and pontificating on things that are cool vintage. Now, I'm going to talk to you guys tonight about some movies that we need to take a look at over this Thanksgiving break. But before I do, I wanted to do some kind of housekeeping and just kind of talk to you guys and kind of catch you up to speed, because I don't think I've done that enough, or not a very good job of it. So first of all, to all of the people who have become subscribers to Blackwater Media, and I'm going to talk about Blackwater in just a second, I want to thank you, because without you, this is nothing. Okay? I want to thank you so much. And even there's a few of you who have been giving little comments on the YouTube channel, and I want to thank you for that, because that's just a great show of support. And I want you guys who are subscribers and you like the show, listen, share it on the various social media outlets that you have. But let me tie that in and segue. I don't want to start getting so far ahead of myself. Okay. Blackwater Media. Blackwater Media is the overall umbrella operation that I have created for my various productions. And that's why I'm always talking about the studios of Blackwater Media. It's obviously, this show is on the Blackwater Media YouTube channel. So the Blackwater Media is my overall operational organization. That's the company name, as it were. So right now, Blackwater Media produces 3 radio shows. This show, Dr. William Lester Show, the Historian's Almanac, and the Shadowland radio show. So you will find all of these programs on the Blackwater Media YouTube channel. And so, listen, subscribe, and share. And that's kind of our mantra: listen, subscribe, and share. Maybe you're more of a fan of the paranormal and you check out Shadowland, the Shadowland radio show. In fact, right now, the Shadowland is in the middle of doing something called a Haunted Thanksgiving, which are really cool old ghost stories, specifically for the season. The Historian's Almanac right now is just about to release a great episode about the first Thanksgiving meal, which is actually kind of a historical breakdown on some of the foods that were actually served in November 1621 at the Plymouth, Massachusetts, at the first Thanksgiving meal. And there are some things that you would expect, but there are a lot of surprises in that episode, a lot of things you might not have ever heard. And I think it's a really interesting show. I enjoy doing it, but check that out, please. So all of these things are part of Blackwater Media. Of course, this show, Dr. William Lester Show, always, things that are cool and vintage. The lifestyle, the cool vintage lifestyle. So I just wanted to, kind of put that out to you, to help kind of crystallize, exactly what's going on. So we're doing these 3 shows, and it's my hope that you become a fan of one or all of them. Maybe you're not into history so much. Maybe you're into the cool vintage lifestyle. Maybe not. Maybe you're more into the paranormal. Maybe your interests encompass all 3. But again, listen, subscribe, and share. And so our next effort, I think, is kind of bumping up the number of subscribers. I'm very grateful to the people who have subscribed so far. But I really want to push that number up so we can get these shows out to a larger audience, because I think we have something very unique here. We have a great diversification of programming content that I think is unique on the internet, and I hope you guys are liking the programs. I try to, the big thing is quality, right? I've listened to a million different podcasts covering a lot of different topics, and I mean, the relative quality of the, for example, the sound is all along the spectrum. I mean, if you tune into something and it sounds bad, how long are you going to sit there and listen? So I really want to maintain and even upgrade the quality of how things sound. We do a lot of things, and you'll hear the sound effects, or you'll hear some great music along with the other content of the shows. So I want to give you quality content, quality sound fidelity for these programs. So that's what's going on. But for tonight, I wanted to talk about, like I said, coming up on the Thanksgiving holidays, a lot of people will be off for a couple of days next week. A lot of people will be off the whole week. And so I realized, hey, people are off work. People are, maybe staying up a little bit later. And hey, you can't watch, there's not football on every day. So in between the football games and other things that you're doing, I had a couple of cool vintage movie suggestions that I wanted to roll out to you. Maybe some of these you've heard of, and you say, oh yeah, that's right, that's a good one to check out. Or maybe this is all new. Maybe some of these titles you've never heard. And if you've never heard of any of these, you are in for a huge treat. So I'm going to start off with Cape Fear. Cape Fear, the original Cape Fear, 1962. This is a suspense, almost a thriller / action film, and it's just become one of my all-timers. Gregory Peck and Martin Balsam, Robert Mitchum, and it's just a fantastic. Also, Telly Savalas is in this film, and Telly Savalas is in another film that we'll talk about coming up. But Telly Savalas is also in this film, and but basically, it's in the story. Gregory Peck is a noted attorney, and Robert Mitchum plays a character named Max Cady, who is just recently released from prison. Apparently, the Gregory Peck character was responsible for prosecuting him, and now this Max Cady is out, and he engages in the most subtle forms of intimidation, and all through the movie he just amps it up, and he's carefully veiled threats, intimidations, and I don't want to give away some of the things that he does to Gregory Peck and his family. And the Gregory Peck character has a wife and teenage daughter, and the way the Max Cady character tries to intimidate them, and every time he does something, it kind of raises the bar on the terror, and raises it, and Robert Mitchum in this film projects himself with such intimidation and such foreboding, and he's a gruesome, scary figure, and you just don't know what he'll do next, and it's like he'll stop at nothing. And so And like I said, he just builds and builds and builds, and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where it's going to go. You don't know how far he will go. And there's a great interplay between Gregory Peck and the Robert Mitchum character and the police. And Telly Savalas plays a policeman, and he's a private investigator. Martin Balsam is a police officer on the city police force. And so, a lot of tense moments. Great classic film, totally cool, absolutely vintage. It doesn't matter how many times I see it. I always enjoy it. If you've never seen it, like I said, you are in for a huge treat. And so definitely consider that one. Cape Fear, 1962, Gregory Peck, Robert Mitchum, Telly Savalas, Martin Balsam. Now, Gregory Peck is also the star of my next recommendation, The Man in the Gray Flannel Suit from 1956. And I'm going to tell you something about this film. And this kind of goes into that cool vintage lifestyle thing for guys. In this film, Gregory Peck will show a man everything he needs to know about how to dress. Yes. I mean, because the fashion sense that he projects in this film is timeless. It doesn't matter that it's 1956. Here we are in 2016. Everything he shows you is absolutely apropos and correct and stylish for right now. So, kind of keep an eye out on that as you watch the movie. His wife is played in the movie by the always exquisite Jennifer Jones. Also, great performance by the legendary Lee J. Cobb. I mean, he's just one of the best. Keenan Wynn is in this one, another favorite. And Arthur O'Connell. So it's just a huge cast, tremendous cast. But storyline-wise, Gregory Peck is a writer, and he's come back from World War II. And basically, it's really hard to talk about this plot without giving some of the great parts away. But something happened to him in Europe during the war, and it has affected him. And in the film, he is so overcome by the effects of what happened to him that he reveals it to his wife, the Jennifer Jones character. And of course, once he reveals it to her, it changes their whole dynamic from that point on. And so, like I said, if I told you what it was, then that would kind of kill what I think is a explosive reveal in the film. But it's a great guy film. It's a cool vintage guy film. Like I said, watch Gregory Peck in this movie, guys, and he'll teach you everything you need to know about how to dress. And it's an excellent choice for this Thanksgiving holiday break. Oh, by the way, as we are having this little examination of these great films, I should tell you that I am enjoying a Puros Indios pyramid cigar. It's a huge ring gauge cigar. I think it's like a 60 ring gauge, but I mean, it's Puros Indios are premium hand-rolled Dominican cigars, excellent quality tobaccos, really wonderfully smooth and mellow on the palate. Wonderful, just a hint of spicy notes, but nothing very overwhelming. Just a wonderful, smooth, mellow, tasty smoke. And I'm also enjoying that with some Tin High whiskey. And Tin High is a really interesting little brand that I discovered locally here. It's wonderfully flavorful. It's great over ice straight. Just great. Or if you're going to make that classic highball, which we've talked about, it's the quintessential basis for perfect highballs. So look for that. It's called Tin High. And I think the bottle, again, we always go back to this idea of let's be smart with our money. We can get quality liquors for moderate and modest price points. I think this bottle was $8.99, and it's absolutely becoming a fixture in the little bar in my study. So you should definitely check that out, and the perfect companion while you're enjoying these great films. From 1965, we have The Slender Thread, which is another suspenseful film starring Sidney Poitier, Telly Savalas, again, Ed Asner, Anne Bancroft, and Indus Arthur, who is one of the underrated beauties of the cool vintage silver screen. But in this film, Sidney Poitier is a graduate student. I think he is trying to get a degree in psychology. And he is at night working a suicide hotline. And his supervisor on this project is Telly Savalas. And they have a great back and forth interplay between them all throughout this film. And that by itself, the film is worth that by itself. And he gets a call one night from the Anne Bancroft character, and she's told him that she's taken a bottle full of pills. And I won't tell you why she's done this, because that'll be too much of a spoiler, because the whole plot revolves around why she took the pills. And over the course of the film, she explains the whole story, how she got to this point. All right. And so the whole film basically is carried off with the Sidney Poitier character and the Anne Bancroft character on the phone. He's keeping her on the phone while he's trying to get her help and all of these type of things. And so the whole movie unfolds that way. And of course it culminates in, well, you just have to watch the film. But there's some very tense moments. Is she going to live or die? Is her suicide attempt going to be successful? And how are the other people in the film affected by this kind of tragedy waiting to happen? So it's called The Slender Thread. Sidney Poitier, Telly Savalas, Ed Asner, who I think plays a police officer in this one, Anne Bancroft, and Indus Arthur. The Indus Arthur character is also working in that same suicide hotline office with Sidney Poitier. And again, she is just, in my view, just one of the underrated beauties of the cool vintage cinema. And so get an eyeful of her in that film. So let's recap. We've got Cape Fear from 1962, Gregory Peck, Robert Mitchum, Martin Balsam. The Man in the Gray Flannel Suit, 1956, again Gregory Peck, Jennifer Jones, Lee J. Cobb, Keenan Wynn, and Arthur O'Connell. And last but not least, of course, The Slender Thread from 1965, Sidney Poitier, Telly Savalas, Ed Asner, and Bancroft, Indus Arthur. These are all great films. Absolutely worth taking some time out over this Thanksgiving break to enjoy. Get your cigars, get you some bourbon or whiskey or scotch, or have your highballs. Get your vodka for your martinis, and it's going to be a great Thanksgiving holiday. So remember, Blackwater Media is the YouTube channel. That's our overall operation. We're producing this show, of course. We're producing the Shadowland radio show. Listen, subscribe, and share. And send me your comments on the shows. I want you to let me know what you're thinking about it. I want to make sure that the quality of the show, the content of the show, the things that we talk about are things that you find interesting and you want more, or maybe you want something else. Just communicate those things to me. Also, I've said, in terms of the Shadowland radio show, I've been I've started putting a call out for you to share your true encounters with the paranormal. So make sure that you're doing that, and you can communicate with me by email. And my email address, it's the word scholar, SCHOLARWM @AOL.com. And you can send me your paranormal encounters or anything else that's show related, that you've heard that you like, or that you'd like to see, or whatever's going on. Just reach out. So listen, we're going to stop it there. It's been another great episode, and I want to make sure that each and every one of you have a great Thanksgiving. And remember, here on the Dr. William Lester Show, it's always cool and it's always vintage. I'll see you next time.